There are a variety of contraindications that can occur during pregnancy. Some of the absolute contraindications that if the mother has, then they should not be doing exercise at all, consist of cardiac diseases and bleeding in the trimesters, as doing exercise could lead to more harm for the mother and the baby. However, some of the relative contraindications that can occur are hypertension and diabetes, so these just need to be controlled when doing exercise. However, there are some exercises that you should avoid altogether during pregnancy. This includes exercises such as sit-ups and lifting heavy weights, as dependent on the individual, but this can lead to an increased risk of premature labour and a low birth weight for the baby. Also, by lifting an object incorrectly, this could affect the mother as they might pull a muscle. In connection to this, during pregnancy, they should try to avoid exercising isolated muscle groups. This is due to the fact by isolating a particular muscle group causes vascular shunt, so redirects the oxygenated blood so that the working muscles can contract, which results in a lack of oxygenated blood that is being supplied to the baby. Linking to this, for the mother's safety, if they have hypertension, they should avoid isometric contractions, as this increases the blood pressure even more, which can be dangerous for the mother and the baby. Also, they should try to avoid all contact sports, as there is an increased risk of the mother being injured and the baby. But there are some activities and exercises people can do when they are pregnant to increase flexibility, but also keep the body mobile so that pregnancy doesn't lead to a sedentary lifestyle. So I'd suggest doing Pilates or yoga 3 times a week, an RPE of about 4, so it's not too strenuous, but this improves flexibility so that the ligaments and tendons are pliable so that they can carry out everyday activities. Also, I'd suggest doing walking or water-based exercises 3 times a week. So for a duration of about 20 minutes, an RPE of about 5. So this just helps keep the body mobile. So this not only improves the mother's health, but also the baby's health as well. Also, doing these exercises where they're not too strenuous helps improve the psychological response to the weight gain that they might have. So this sort of exercise basically helps lift their mood. There are several contraindications for younger people. These include obesity, asthma, diabetes, cardiovascular problems and respiratory problems. Depending on the individual, depends what type of contraindication it is. So cardiovascular problems and respiratory problems, they can be very serious. So these could be absolute contraindications, or they can be relative contraindications if they are not that bad. But it all depends on the individual. For example, asthma can be a serious problem, as some participants may find it hard to breathe when doing high intensity exercises, and if they don't have an inhaler with them, this could be a serious problem. So it's something for the instructor to look out for and suit the exercises around the individual and what they need. When you're younger, you must try to avoid training with heavy weights. This is because the growth plates in younger people are still developing, and therefore if too much stress is put on the growth plates, it will disturb and hinder the growth of that young person, creating a lot of skeletal problems in later life. Exercise doesn't just help with someone's physical health, but it can also help with their psychological well-being, as you can socialise at a young age through sport teams and school, so that you make more friends. Also, to decrease the risk of some contraindications developing in the future, such as osteoporosis and arthritis. Impact and weight-bearing exercises allows the bones to become more dense, therefore decreasing the risk of the bones becoming brittle. Endurance-based exercise can help a contraindication such as obesity, because this type of exercising, so endurance-based exercises, can help you lose weight. So for young people, it is important they do 1 hour of exercise per day. So this could include weight-bearing exercises, or endurance-based exercises such as running, swimming. And they don't have to be at a high intensity, but it is important that young people exercise every day for at least an hour, so that contraindications such as cardiovascular problems and respiratory problems don't develop in the future. Also, flexibility exercises help improve mobility, as they increase the stretch of the tendons, ligaments, because they are more pliable. So like I said before, I'd recommend young people doing at least 1 hour of exercise per day. So this should include impact exercise, such as walking or running, so that there is impact placed on the joints and bones, so that they can become more dense. This type of exercise doesn't have to be performed at a high intensity, but it can be. So the young person can choose whether to perform the exercise at 60 to 70% of their maximum heart rate, or 80 to 90% of their maximum heart rate. Also, I would recommend 3 times a week doing flexibility exercises, as this just helps keep the body mobile, and tendons and ligaments more pliable. So I'd suggest doing 3 sets of 10 reps of each exercise, working on their hamstrings, quadriceps, shoulders, and arms, and working an RPE of about 4. Also, the endurance-based exercises such as swimming, running, walking, these help improve the heart, as they decrease your resting heart rate, so that essentially you're fitter, which will help with other contraindications such as asthma. 22.2.